Hi everyone, Joy here at the Gardener Center, kicking off the new year with the first video of our 2022 series. This time of year, believe it or not, is houseplant crazy. This is my time to shine, January and February, when everyone has gotten rid of the Christmas tree and the Christmas decorations. The house looks a little empty. So they want to, everyone wants to fill a space because you're like, oh, it looks so empty over here. What about a nice houseplant in that corner? Or maybe you got some Christmas money for Christmas and you want to come spend it on houseplants because you're a houseplants enthusiast, or you got a Gardener Center gift certificate. This is the place to come. So I thought I would start this year's series by picking a plant to talk about, one of my new favorites, and it is an Alocasia. Some of you will know them as elephant ear. Most of our outdoor gardeners will call them elephant ear because you're used to seeing these big green arrowhead-shaped leaves out in the nursery during the spring. And that's how a lot of people know them. However, they have turned into a hot ticket over the last couple of years, and there's lots of different beautiful hybrid varieties that you can choose from that aren't just for outside. However, that doesn't leave you guys out, all our outdoor gardeners. If you do, they'll still be around during the spring and the summer, and you can still have your nice, big, beautiful tropical plants. The other little trick about them is they actually are tuberous plants. So again, geared to our outdoor gardeners. If you would like to save them and keep them for the following season, you can treat them just like you treat your dahlias, where you want to get those tuberous all nice and cleaned off and, make sure there's no squishy bits. Get them all nice and dried off. Keep them stored in either a peat moss or vermiculite in a dry, cool, dark place. And then you can have your big, beautiful elephant ears for the following year. Okay, so let's move on to why I picked these plants. I don't know, just looking at them sitting here on the table, they're amazing. I can't say enough about them, but I'll say enough about them in a few minutes. They originate, native to Thailand, Indonesia, Eastern Australia. Some of them, not all of them, can get up to 4 feet tall with leaves that are like 20 inches long. So they're pretty impressive plants. Some of them are very slow growers and stay fairly low and come out this way, but that's okay too, because there's all different shapes and sizes of all different kinds of plants. And they've become very popular in the last few years because of the houseplant boom. But if you could remember back years and years and years ago, the first and the most popular was Alocasia amazonica, which is also known as Alocasia poly or the African mask. You might be familiar with this. Maybe mom had one back in like the 70s or the 80s, and that was kind of an exotic plant back then. Now skip forward, 15, 20 years, and in the last, say 3 or 4 years, like I said, the houseplant has been booming, and now there's so many different varieties available to the consumer. And some of them are crossbred, some of them are hybrids. I have a parent on the table today that is actually a parent to the Alocasia poly. And this one right here is Alocasia Longaloba. And she is half the pair, she's the single mom, but that's okay. Her husband isn't here right now. But this is parent. And they have so many different varieties in texture and variegation and color and some badass names, let me tell you. Like this girl right here. Look at the texture on this. just a beautiful coloring and texture. And her name is Alocasia Dragon Scale. I mean, it's like we're in Game of Thrones here, and I'm Khaleesi, mother of dragons. Over here, another beautiful texture. I mean, shine. Look at that shine. That's a natural shine. No leaf shine, no dusting, no wiping. Alocasia Quilted Dreams. Pink dragon over here. Lots of dragons, like I said, you know. Lots of dragons. This is pink dragon here. This beauty is dragon tooth. So whoever decided to name, but they were really into dragons. Sometimes they will get a flower. If they do flower, it's not a very pretty flower. They're not known to be a flowering plant. Their flower kind of looks like a cross between a peace lily and a calla lily flower. If you'd like to leave it on because you think it's cool, leave it on. I would suggest cutting it off though, because it takes a lot of energy away from the plant into the flower rather than into the beautiful leaves and the texture that you see. Plus they're in captivity. They're not out, you know, out in the wild doing their thing. So it's better to take your flower off. Again, like I said, they're tubers. So if you do decide to try and propagate, I've seen Alocasia propagated a few different ways. Some people will take a leaf and try and propagate from that. Not the best way to do that. You don't really get good results that way. I actually have seen people, when the plant is nice and full, they take out like the mother section here and leave these 2 or 3 leaves on the side, and they cut out this whole section here. If you do that, you're going to need some type of sealant to protect that open wound that you just caused. Then you're going to take this whole chunk and you're going to put it in a nice soil mixture of some sort. Anything that has a nice vermiculite, peat moss, or just a nice draining soil, and you can propagate that way. Best way to do it though is to pull them out of their pots, and you can literally loosen up the soil and the tubers will start to separate. So you'll have a little tuber that'll have a couple of leaves on it, and boom, you're done. Just put that in a little bit of soil, and then you have your whole second plant. So much better to do it that way. Let's talk about how to care for them. Like I said, they're very tropical. Find them in Thailand and Indonesia, so super important for high humidity in the house, especially at this time of year in New England when it's really dry in the house. If you don't have a humidifier, a little trick that we can do is bring it in the bathroom when you shower, or if you have enough light in the bathroom, you can let them live in the bathroom. One of my coworkers, one of our employees, Lauren, actually has a little Alocasia jungle in her bathroom, and they thrive in there. They're fantastic. They like bright to moderate indirect light. And during the winter, it's natural for them to want to go dormant because in their native areas where they live, they're a perennial. So they're going to try and go a little dormant in the winter. So you want to ease back on your watering. Let the soil go almost completely dry in the winter, and then a good thorough drink. In the summer, during their growing season, you're going to want to keep that soil a bit more moist. Doesn't have to be consistent, constant moist, but when your top inch soil is dry, then a good thorough drink. The other way you can get them really bumping is in the summertime around here where we all know it's humid. You can put them outside, put them in a shady area, not in the direct sun, and they'll like double in size by the time they're ready to come back in. But like I said, do be mindful. Some of them can get 20-inch long leaves, like this Longaloba here with this big leaf that's coming. And yeah, so they'll really thrive out in the summer. And again, they're just a beautiful plant. So much texture, so much variegation, really cool names. And some people will disagree with me, but really not that hard to take care of. As long as like I said, humidity is number one. Bring her in the shower. Get a humidifier, but it's a great addition to anybody's plant collection, or, you know, even if you don't have a plant collection, if you want to start off with a new plant to begin with, give it a try. We'll give you the info, we'll help you out, and they'll thrive in your house. So hopefully you enjoyed me talking about the Alocasia. And don't worry, we'll be doing more video series as the season goes on, and then we'll really be gearing up in May when the planting season starts. So thank you all for listening, and have a great day.